Hey, what up, guys? Coming to you again this morning. I want to do the weekend preview. I got some fights coming up this weekend. We actually got 3 different cards taking place between Friday and Saturday. It's been a while since we had a Friday fight. So, yeah, let's kick it off. We're going to start with the Friday card. It's going to be on DAZN. It was supposed to have Daniel Roman and, I forget the guy he was fighting. It's a tough one. Let me say this. Mirajan Akhmadaliev. So some Russian number 1 contender. He was supposed to be taking him on, but Roman has tendonitis in his shoulder, and if you don't know Daniel Roman, he's the number one fighter at 122 super bantamweight and the unified world champion right now. That fight's still going to go on. It just got canceled because of the tendonitis, but that's a minor thing, so it's 4 to 6 weeks delay we should get, and hopefully that fight gets rescheduled soon. But now the undercard's really not much to speak of. The main event should be good, though. The main event's going to feature undefeated Devin Haney, who's a 135-pound lightweight prospect and star on the rise, really, in my opinion. He is going to be he's going to be challenging for the vacant WBC interim lightweight title when he takes on Zaur Abdullayev. This fight's got a lot of significance to it because if the winner is going to be the WBC interim champion, and to be honest, could be facing Vasily Lomachenko next. Could be Lomachenko's mandatory and take him on next. So really got a lot of significance here. I've never really heard of Abdullayev, and Haney hasn't really beaten anybody big. They're both undefeated, but I think Haney's probably going to roll through Abdullayev, knockout win. This guy is really talented, so you should check him out, see what he's made of. I really like him. Yeah, that's Friday night on DAZN. I believe the whole card's starting at 4 o'clock. So the main event, I'm thinking probably maybe around between 6 and 7. But that, again, you can check out the whole card. It's a Matchroom card, I believe, and see what's up. That's Friday on DAZN. Then this Saturday, also on DAZN, we'll go with the lesser card first. Also on DAZN, we got a pretty good doubleheader coming your way. Again, they have a whole card starting. I believe it's in the evening. You can check it out on DAZN. But the 2 main fights. In the co-feature, you're going to see undefeated Ryan Garcia, another lightweight prospect on the rise. It is going to be really good. Lightweight is getting very good with youngsters. He's taking on little-known Avery Sparrow. It should be just another kind of stay busy, not look good fight for Ryan Garcia going forward. But he's a very good fighter. I think he's going to score a knockout in this one over Sparrow. But check him out. A lot of skill, and he's an undefeated prospect. These are the guys you really want to watch. The main event of that DAZN card is going to feature Jaime Munguia, the undefeated WBO super welterweight world champion, which is 154 pounds. He's making I believe this is 5th or 6th defense of his world title when he takes on Patrick Alati. I forget which African country he's from. He's from Ghana or one of those countries out there. That hasn't really done much in his career. Munguia, has trouble finding opponents at 154. He says this is his last fight at 154 pounds. He's moving up to middleweight after this. And when he gets up there, he's going to try to be getting fights like Demetrius Andrade, Triple G, and Canelo Alvarez. That's been the talk. So Munguia needs to stay undefeated. He needs to stay good to be able to talk about guys like that. I've been calling knockout his last couple fights, and he's fought hard decisions. I'm still going to call another knockout. I think Munguia is badass. I think the weight kind of depletes him a little bit. That's why he hasn't knocked his last couple opponents out. But we'll see. If this is his last fight, we'll see. Should be entertaining, though. Munguia is a tough, hard-nosed Mexican fighter with a big-ass punch. You will not be disappointed by the action on DAZN this Saturday, so make sure to check it out. And then on ESPN Plus, they got a big card going on. Now, there's 3 fights worth talking about, but they got a whole card going on. It's coming from, I don't know if it's coming from the United Kingdom. Actually, I think it's taking place in Vegas or New York. I think it's New York. But let's start with the undercard. You got a big-time junior welterweight showdown taking place on the undercard. It's got former 2-division world champion Jose Pedraza. He's won titles at 130 and 135. He fought Vasily Lomachenko last year. He beat Ray Beltran last year. His only 2 losses are to Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis. Pedraza's the real deal. He's a good fighter. He's moving up to 140 for his first, well, it's going to be his second straight fight at 140, but he's taking on former two-time world title challenger Jose Zepeda. Zepeda just fought back in February against Jose Ramirez for the WBC title, and he fought his ass off. He's trained by Freddie Roach. He fought his ass off. He lost a close majority decision. Jose Ramirez is now the #1 ranked junior welterweight in the world after knocking out Maurice Hooker in July. So Zepeda, in my opinion, that speaks to how talented he is, that he went 12 and he almost got a points decision over Ramirez. So this is a really interesting fight right here at 140. I really can't wait to see it. I'm going to give it to Zepeda, though, because of how good he looked against Ramirez, and he's more natural at 140. He's been here longer. He has moved up from lightweight. He fought for a world title at lightweight, 135. But I think he's a little bigger. I'm going to give him the edge in this one by a decision, but it should be a pretty good chess match between two pretty solid boxers. So check that out on the undercard. The co-feature now is going to see the Emmanuel Navarrete. He is the WBO super bantamweight world champion right now, which is 122 pounds. He just fought 4 weeks ago. He destroyed some unknown guy, and now he's taking on another unknown guy, Juan Elorde. But he's a very entertaining, tall, lengthy, 122-pound fighter. He's from Mexico. He's got that full-on Mexican style. He goes for knockouts, and he's throws a lot of punches. You will not be disappointed, even if this fight ends early. I'm predicting a knockout in the early to middle rounds, and he will hold on to his 154-pound title. And then in the main event, you got former unified heavyweight champion, still undefeated Tyson Fury, taking on undefeated Otto Wallin. This is Fury just staying busy ahead of his proposed rematch with Deontay Wilder in the early part of next year. You know, Fury should look good in this one. He should dominate this Wallin. I haven't seen what he can do. I could see pretty much any result. I could see a knockout in the early to middle rounds, the later rounds, possibly a decision. You know, Fury, his old style, he got a lot of decision wins, you know, because he stood back and boxed. But just recently, he knocked out Tom Schwartz, who's kind of he was undefeated, but he was a little known, and he knocked him out in 2 rounds back in June. So, you know, is Fury getting a little more aggressive? You know, timing himself a little better? We'll see. He used to be an aggressive fighter, and then he got knocked down early on in his career. He got hurt, and I think he's been backing off since. But now, maybe he's getting more comfortable after the Fury or the Wilder fight, and you know, but he doesn't want to take too big of a risk. So I'm looking for any result, but I think Tyson Fury's going to win this fight no matter what. Hopefully, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he tries to impress us, though, and gets a knockout. So that's Saturday, ESPN Plus. You got that card. You got the card on DAZN, and then on Friday night you got another DAZN card. So make sure you're checking out the action this weekend, guys. There's a lot of it. Pretty solid, decent fighters, all top 10 guys. You got a couple #1s fighting. You know, you got one #1. Tyson Fury is #1 at heavyweight right now. Emmanuel Navarrete is #2 at super bantamweight. You know, some of these guys really have a lot going for them right now. And then you got some undefeated fighters on the rise. So make sure to check that out. Again, that's Friday and Saturday. What is that? September 13th, September 14th. All right, guys. Have a good one. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.